Now, if you need a 1 week streamer, though, of course, Bateman's not going to serve that need, given he's on bye. But Darius Slayton, 14% rostered. I think another guy worth 6 to 7% or so of your fab. Certainly even more should we get word that Galladay, Shepard, and Tony are again about to be ruled out. Because this last week when they were ruled out, he saw 27% target share and 63% of their air yards. That's the highest mark of any player across the league for week 7. If you need the week 8 stream, this is about as good as it's going to get should those guys be out, because he's also facing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are very susceptible to big plays, giving up the 8th most points to wide receivers. Dreamboat matchup in that sense, should these guys be out. So check for Darius Slayton. He did have 63 yards on 5 catches. Nothing great, but against a Rams defense, that's pretty tough. Or Panthers, rather, this week, one of the better teams against wide receivers. Intriguing stash and stream this week, should you need it. And with guys like Adams and people on COVID, you might need this type of stream. Just note, though, they don't play till Monday Night Football, so that does add a little bit of risk. If all those guys are back, Slayton becomes kind of useless, and that's why he's a bit lower among the wide receivers. He'd be the number 1 guy if I knew all 3 of those people were going to be out and you could lock him in as your streamer. Another running back, immediate usability, have him just ahead of Boston Scott because I think he has a longer tail value. That's Brandon Bolden. 7 targets, 19% target share. That was the highest a Patriots running back has seen since James White got knocked out. Had 79 yards and a TD on it. No rushing yards, 2 carries for 0. That doesn't matter, though. The James White role is why you want him, and he's just cementing himself in that role. In fact, to the point that Ramondre Stevenson was a healthy scratch, given he keeps blowing pass protections. I think this is another solid stream right away. A desperation flex appeal against a Chargers team that has been susceptible to running backs, 5th most points at the position, in particular, giving up a lot through the air. This was that much target share, nearly 20% on the most negative of game scripts for them to throw to running backs. They were up so big all game, and yet they still continued to pepper this guy in 2-minute drills. He was the de facto number 1 receiver on those drills. He had 6 straight targets at one point. It was wild. So Brandon Bolden, it's not sexy. You don't feel great about it. And I'm just proud because I told a lot of people once Ramondre Stevenson was nailed inactive, he became my number 1 desperation stream last week. And damn, did he pay off. So go right back to the well this week. I think you got a nice matchup. You got the right possibility here. As we mentioned, Boston Scott, 5 to 6% of my fab, certainly lower than Gainwell, but has 3 to 4 weeks of usability here is my guess. Who knows how long Miles Sanders will be out, but he was the one seeing all the goal line work, led the team in carry 7 to 5. So something to note there as my number 8 pickup player. At tight end, my first pickup here would be CJ Uzomah, and that's pretty easy to make. 20% rostered, I'd say 5 to 6% fab, but if you're needy, I have no qualms going 10, 15%. Should you really need a tight end here? He's now been the tight end 1 in 2 of the last 4 weeks, 24 and 23 fantasy points in those games. He also had a 9-point day against Detroit, so not, great, but still 5 touchdowns in 4 weeks. Clearly a high usage red zone role, but also great after the catch. He's being afforded such great opportunities because you have Jamar Chase streaking down the field, because you have T. Higgins outside commanding number 2 corners. They have nobody to cover this guy, and he's looking like a freak. He's ran 178 routes on the year. That's 12th most among tight ends. Pretty much in every snap, every route participation type of player here. And that's pretty rare to find a tight end. Top 15 rest of season tight end moving forward, given the explosiveness of this offense and giving his high, not usage in terms of targets, but high usage in terms of every snap, every route. And when he gets used, he's certainly producing, certainly as a touchdown scorer. Another guy to make note, I guess I do want to add one thing with him too, CJ Uzomah. The Bengals at the beginning of the year were one of the worst in terms of pace, slowest offense, and also one of the most run-heavy teams in neutral situations. 35% pass rate in week 1, 32% pass rate in week 3. They've now bumped that up to 60, 50, and 59% across their last 3 weeks in neutral situations. So they're starting to air it out a bit more, getting back to those ways, and Joe Burrow is looking so damn good in that rebound league. Now, Michael Gallup, you might want to bump him up if you have just bench space and you want upside. In terms of talent, as good as anybody on this list. One of my favorite receivers in the league. I can't wait for him to be a free agent next year and finally get the volume he deserves. But Dak Prescott, the only time that Gallup was on the field, attempted 58 pass attempts. They've been now the 11th highest run rate in neutral scripts. So I don't think the volume's going to be there. That's why I have Gallup a bit lower here. I think he's clearly below CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, now Dalton Schultz, who's seen 25 to 30% target share on a weekly basis. And then you also got Zeke in the running backs, Tony Pollard there, getting a ton of work. So maybe the fifth option on the totem pole right now, but I still think well worth a roster spot given Cooper's got an extensive injury history. Should he get leaped up to number 2 on the target totem pole because of an injury, Gallup could more than handle that. Such good chemistry with Dak on contested throws, sideline situations. We saw it in week 1, looking very solid. I think Gallup is well worth rostering at this point to check it out. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.